Hello everyone, I am Dr. Praveen Bhandari. Today I am going to unfold some mystery of physics where I'll be talking about some laws of physics that change the world. The title may be appearing something amazing to you because I believe that there are many phenomenon which are occurring in the nature. There are many operations which are carried out in an industry or day-to-day life. There are some aspects about the human behavior. In all these situations, we can explain the happening with the help of laws of physics. There are some laws of the physics which can explain even the behavior of the person also, or why the person behaves in a particular fashion or not. That is why I say that the physics laws that change the world. There are many laws of physics. All cannot be completed in a single video, and that's why in a series of the video sessions, I'm going to explain about the different laws of physics that change the world. Let us see. Now there are two pictures: a hockey player hitting a ball and the sailing a boat. The boat is sailing from left to right. If the hockey player hits the ball, then definitely it is going to travel towards the left, or depending upon the direction of the heat. So what does it explain? It explains something in a motion. And therefore, whenever there is something, maybe a body, maybe a substance in a motion, then it travels in the direction of net force. This is what is the statement of Newton's second law of motion. So it states that every body or every object always travels in the direction of net force. Mathematically, it can be explained as F, that is net force, is equal to ma. We can also state it that the magnitude of the impressed force is directly proportional to rate of change of momentum. Let us explain, let us understand it by another example. There is a large boulder and a person is trying to push it. So whether it is push or pull, there is a motion of an object which is either pushed or which is either pulled. In both the cases, the direction of the motion depends upon the direction in which the force is applied. In the last picture, you're observing the baseball player hitting the baseball, and the direction of the hit is from left to right, or say from lower to somewhat upper direction. In the same direction the ball will travel, and therefore this Newton's second law of motion is applicable to everything from games, automobiles, industrial drives, hydraulic system, to everything where the motion is involved. Next is Pascal's law of hydraulics. Now I've used the word hydraulics, the reason being the operations of all hydraulic machinery is based on the Pascal's law, where the small efforts or the energy is supplied, a small pressure is applied, and with the help of Pascal's law and with the help of hydraulic circuit, the small applied pressure is amplified in hundreds or thousands of the times, and therefore our efforts are reduced and we can carry out the task where the huge energy is required. In the figure, you are observing three pictures. One is of hydraulic press, hydraulic jack, and earth moving equipment, say JCB. Now in hydraulic press, there is the hydraulic piston and there is a piston and cylinder assembly, where inside the cylinder the oil is filled, and when the pressure is applied on the oil in a confined space, it acts as a solid propellant, and that pressure is applied at one end, it's transmitted to another end, and therefore with the help of this you can give any shape as per the die used in a hydraulic press. The same hydraulic press can also be used for baling of the cottons. The hydraulic jack used to lift the automobile body, just using the little efforts with the help of lever. If you just repeatedly push it down, up and down, it result in the pressurization of the oil which is present in the cylinder, and that the pressure transmitted to the oil result in the lifting of the jack arm, and it indirectly lift the vehicle. In a earth moving equipments, you must have seen the work which can be carried out by 10 or 15 people in many days. The same work can be completed with the help of JCB just in an hour. Why? Thanks to the Pascal's law of hydraulics, that is the hydraulic circuit which is used is responsible for the massive power which these earth moving machines are possessing. The movement of the that arm, the movement of the bucket, the tremendous force which is applied for the excavation and everything is based on the Pascal's law. What it states? It states that the pressure applied on an incompressible fluid in a confined volume get equally transferred in all directions. The change in magnitude of pressure at one point in a fluid will be transmitted without any loss at every point in a fluid and on a walls of container. Now, whenever, in case of the pressure vessel, whenever the hydraulic test is carried out, a small pump is sufficient enough to generate the massive hydraulic pressure or to rise the hydraulic pressure up to the design pressure of the safety wall, which is fixed in the fixed to the process vessels, and it pops. If it pops up at a design pressure, then we say that the pressure it is operating properly. Or even if there is any leakage or other things in a process vessels, if some failure can occur at certain elevated pressures, everything can be tested just on the basis of Pascal's law of hydraulics. The most important word to understand in this case is incompressible fluid. So the transmission of the pressure from one end to another end without any loss is possible only in case the fluid is incompressible. Newton's law of gravitation. It is popularly known as the Newton's universal law of gravitation. Why? Because it is useful for explaining the force of attraction due to gravity between any two masses on the Earth's surface, at the same time between any two masses in the universe. You heard it rightly, in the universe. It states that the force of attraction due to gravity between the two masses is directly proportional to product of their masses and inversely proportional to square of distance between them. Mathematically, it can be expressed as F is equal to capital G m1 m2 upon r square, where capital F F is the force due to gravitational force of attraction, capital G is the gravitational constant, m1 is mass of body 1, m2 is mass of body 2, r square is the distance separating the 2-point masses. The occurrence of high tide and low tide, the constant revolution of the planets around the sun, the motion of the artificial satellites and spacecraft, the motion of the galaxy and cluster of galaxy, everything can be explained using the Newton's law of gravitation. And that is why even you can calculate the mass of the earth, the force of attraction due to gravity on a different planets using the Newton's law of gravitation. And since it is applicable on the surface of the earth or at any place in the universe for calculating the force of attraction due to gravity, it is known as Newton's universal law of gravitation. Next is Einstein's mass energy equivalence. Now, before we understand this, we have learned that mass and energy of the system are conserved. But the Einstein assumed mass as the super condensed form of the energy, and it is possible for conversion of one form of the energy into another form of the energy. And therefore, in some cases, you may find the reduction in a mass, but that mass is converted into energy. And therefore, whenever there is the change in mass of the substance, how much energy is evolved can be calculated by using Einstein's mass energy equivalence. And the equation is E is equal to mc square, the famous E is equal to mc square equation. It states that whenever the small amount of mass is lost, then that mass lost is converted into huge amount of the energy. And you can see the c square, that is speed of the light square, and the magnitude of the speed of light itself is very large, 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second, and square of that. And therefore, from that you can realize that even if there is the loss in small amount of the mass, then there is a huge energy released. And whether it is a nuclear fission which is occurring in the explosion of the atom bomb or in an atomic reactor, or nuclear fusion which is occurring inside the sun core, in all these cases, the energy either released in case of fission or fusion can be explained with the help of Einstein's mass energy equivalence. It was predicted that whenever the atom bomb was dropped in Japan, then the loss of 1 gram of the mass of atom bomb was responsible for generation or evolution of the energy, which is equal to the energy produced or evolved when 20,000 tons of the trinitrotoluene, which is the explosive, is exploded. So from this, you can understand the huge amount of the energy which is released when there is a loss of the mass. And that is why the energy generated in an atomic reactor, even during the explosion of atom bomb, is huge. And all these calculations are based on Einstein's mass energy equivalence. Second law of thermodynamics, it states that the system always moves in the direction of increasing entropy. I can redefine it in another way. Everything which occurs in a universe occurs in the direction of increasing entropy, and the directions in which the entropy increases, in that case the direction of the change is spontaneous. Now, what is entropy? Entropy means orderness. Orderness means what? Just to understand the orderness, if the molecules are closely spaced, if they are at a fixed position, if there is a force of attraction very strong, just like say ice cube, we can say that the system is in order if we consider ice as a system. But when it is melt, it is in a disordered state, or the disorderness is increasing. Why? Because the molecules are moving each away from each other, the force of attraction is decreasing. So in that case, the system or the change when there is the increase in disorderness are always spontaneous, and that is why the ice melts on its own. You don't have to do any efforts for melting of the ice. However, when the change represent the decrease in entropy, that means orderness is increasing, then it is non-spontaneous. That means you have to apply the external energy for making that change possible. Say for example, for conversion of water into ice, you have to use refrigerator, so you are using external energy. But for conversion of ice into water liquid, that is for melting of the ice, you don't have to supply any external energy. It melts on its own by absorbing the energy on its own, and therefore whatever the change is occurring in the universe in which the disorderness is increasing is always the spontaneous, and that is explained by second law of thermodynamics. The best part of second law of thermodynamics is it explains the direction of the change. So if you calculate the entropy change during during any process, if the entropy change is greater than 0, that is positive, then that process will occur spontaneously without supply of any external energy or without any appreciable human effort. Say for example, uh, uh, the expansion of the gas is spontaneous, whereas compression is non-spontaneous. During expansion, the entropy increases. During compression, entropy decreases. Melting of ice, entropy increases. Freezing of water, entropy decreases. And therefore, say for example, the metal get rusted easily. The oxidation of silver, the oxidation of copper, and rusting of iron all occurs on their own. You don't have to make any special efforts for making them happen. Huh? So what does it indicates? They occur spontaneously on their own, because during this change, during oxidation of iron, sulfur, copper, the entropy increases, and therefore the system always moves in the direction of increasing entropy. However, if you want to prevent the oxidation of iron, sulfur, and silver from happening, then you have to apply certain external efforts, or you have to make some external efforts, then and then only you will prevent the natural oxidation of these metals. Even the same second law of thermodynamics is also useful for explaining the concept of expanding universe. And therefore, if certain change is occurring, if during that change, if the entropy, that is disorderness of the system or randomness of the system is increasing, will always occur spontaneously and on its own. Even the same theme is applicable for human behavior also. Whenever he is a kid, he is in the most ordered state, that is his entropy is less. But as he grow up, his disorderness, behavior, habits changes, and he moves from the state of order to disorder. So that's all about the laws of the physics, or physics laws that change the world, part 1. If you have liked my video, do subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you are viewing for the first time, do share among your friends. If you have already subscribed, thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like my video. Thank you once again. We'll meet again with the application of another laws of the physics which has changed the world. Thank you once again.